Well, we're out in the shop. Time to start another project. And this is the final piece for the mausoleum build I did last year. Last year we got the walls, the roofs, we got all the parts done for the mausoleum itself. This season we've come back through the little boxes I had for the urns. I added lights to, so people could see the urns because they were just too much in shadow. That left one other step to do, and that's this here. That's one of the arches that go over the entrance and the exit. And they need a redesign in order to fit the new mausoleum. They're a bit too short. And they're getting pretty beat up. The plywood and everything's getting warped and dinged up. So I'm just going to scrap both the entrance and the exit pillars, tops. We've got to redo the bases. We are going to keep the plastic pillars I have that go with this. But anyway, they need a total redesign. And I've been sitting here. I was thinking with a new design on adding some lights. I have some old Christmas strings that I can use for that. I just have to order the correct lights for them. And I've been getting measurements and stuff off the old one, getting them onto paper so I can copy them and stuff. They're going to end up having a totally brand new look. But that is our current project. But this is one of the critical projects I needed to do. I mean, I was able to use these last year, but I had to do a lot of shimming and wedging, and I was nervous about it because they weren't attached all that safely. So I need to redo them and get them to where I can do them safely. But it's time to get to it. So let's get to it. Now our first step with this is doing the base. The base is going to stay for the most part the same dimensions, but I've got to get some plywood in here and cut out the base, get the holes here. This is where the pillars go in. I got, got to get all that laid out and cutting, so it'll take a while. I'm going to have to get the table saw out. And I'm not going to have to go down and buy any plywood, at least not right now, because I've got a huge stack of plywood there that I can use. So this is stuff that we use in the haunt. So for now, I am just going to get into that and use that. At this point, things are moving along fairly quick. I've got the bases cut. Each one is 74.5 inches long, but 21 inches wide. And I've got the holes cut in them there and there on both the panels to accept this. So I'll actually slide down and over like that. Now, to keep it from just falling past the cap, and sliding down to the bottom, I got to put a cap over the top of it. I just got done cutting those out. And those will get glued and screwed, something like that, on top. And then the top of the pillow will rest to the bottom side of this so it can't slide through. Now, I do have one other step I need to do with these before I can get them attached. And that's these here. This is a toilet flange. This is what mounts on the floor. The piping for your sewer system hits the back side, and your toilet fits on the front side, or this way, either way. But anyway, I've got to mount these in the exact center of each one, and then drill out a hole in the plywood so I can pass tubes down. On one of these, I'm going to have a fog machine hooked up to, and the fog will actually come out the bases on these. So I need to do a pipe down through here in order to get the fog for where I need to be. On the other one is going to be our air blasters, just like what we have now, except I think I'm going to redesign the air blasters a little bit differently on that. But I still need to get these mounted where I need them. So I gotta do that, and I can mount this, set these off to the side, and we can start doing the framing out the sides on these. Alright, I'm about ready to quit. My back is throwing kittens at me again. We've done pretty good out here. We got the base done, the holes framed in, and I just finished doing their caps. And you notice there's a hole here. That's this piece here. It fits down in there like that. And when I go to put it in, I'll get it more centered in the hole. But I still got to get those attached, and I will do that last, because these things stick through, like here, a little bit too far. If I mount it, it's going to hold everything up. So I'll mount these last. But the holes are done, and I got both the exit over there and the entrance to the stage. Now, with my back bugging me, I think I'm going to call it quits out here for today, and we're going to let things dry, and then tomorrow we need to come in here and get the Gorilla Glue cleaned up on both the pieces, and then we can start framing the outside wall. We've got an idea of what we want to do with it, and I will run that by you when I get to that point. Well, good morning. It's the next day. My parts have dried, and I've been out here for about a half hour. I came out, I got an errand I gotta go run here in a bit, but had some time, a little bit of time this morning, and I figured I'd get out here and clean up the mess from the Gorilla Glue. And I started messing around with this piece on the back side, and I got to thinking, no one's ever gonna see this. This is gonna be on top of the pillar, you know, 7-8 foot and about 7 foot up. No one's ever gonna see it. And there's no decorating or anything that's going on this side of the pillar or anything. If anything, I'll give it a shot of primer in order to help seal the wood, to make the wood last a little bit longer. But no one's ever going to see it, so there's really no point in cleaning up the mess on both that piece and this piece. But inside here, where the pillar cap sits in, was another matter. The glue was sticking out in spots wide enough, or you know, far enough out in order to keep the pillar cap from actually fitting in. So I did have to get these cleaned up. So I've done both pieces, and you can see the crap that I took out. I've done both holes on this one and both holes on that one, so that's done. Now my next chore is I gotta flip it over, and I gotta start doing the framework like I did here. I did 2x2s for a framework and then skinned it with plywood. And I got to start doing the same thing. I got to get the frame on there and attached. Got to get skinned, and I got to get the foam on there, and then we set them off to dry. Alright, framing is finished on both of them. I just did a simple 2x2 frame which will support the majority of the plywood and the foam. The plywood in the foam is going to stick up a couple inches past that because of another step I am going to be doing with this, which you will see down the line. But I'm going to go in and grab lunch. After lunch, we got to get out here and get the plywood installed. And then once that's done, we can start dragging the foam out and getting the foam on. Well, there you go. One skinned arch. And actually, they're both skinned, so two. The holes here are going to be for these. I'm going to add lights to them. And they're just outdoor Christmas light socket. You know, those ones you get in sets of 25. It's a C9 size socket on there. But right now things are kind of tacky. I glued the plywood on the ends, the front, on both of them. I'm going to let it sit overnight. Our next step on here is to start getting the foam put on. And we'll do that tomorrow if I have time. Well, welcome to Monday. And Sue-Ann and I are just getting home from doing our regular work errands Monday morning. And it's about 12:30. We left you last week with getting the, I want to say awnings, arches to this point here. We've got them framed and we've got them sheeted with the plywood. Our next step in the process is pink foam. I need to go through and get all the plywood around the outside of it coated with pink foam, and then we can start sketching out and stuff. And it's a semi-involved process. Today's process, or part of the process we're going to work on, is actually getting the foam adhered to the plywood, and we'll be using Gorilla Glue for that. And once I get the plywood on, or not the plywood, but once I get the foam attached, we'll be done out here for the most part for the day, because I can't do anything until the glue sets up on it. Alright, both the arches are foamed. I just got done doing the front. We got the bottom down there done, and we got the ends done on both ends on both the pillars. Now I need to let this dry overnight. Now what I ended up doing was I went and put Gorilla Glue on the wood, stuck the foam up against it, and I'm using these here. This is one of the fasteners I came up with for doing my wall panels. This is simply a screw with a couple plastic washers on them. And I'm using that to hold the foam into place until the Gorilla Glue dries. And once it's set up, I can come through, pop these out, and they'll be ready for, you know, for sketching out the pattern and stuff. Before I get to sketching out the pattern on them, though, I'm going to have some work to do. One, on the back here, you can see I've got this arch on the plywood. So this piece and this piece on both arches needs to be cut off. And then I got the holes for the lights. I'm going to need to come in here and get a hole bored through so I can get the sockets in for the lights. And then on the bottom, this is where the top of the pillar goes. I got foam there. I got to get that cut out too. So I've got that to do. Then I've got some miscellaneous cleanup. The foam is, you know, sticking over a little bit there. I need to shave that down to get it into shape. And I screwed up on my measurements as far as height. When I did this, or measured this out, I forgot to take into account that bottom sheet of foam. And as a result, this piece is going to the top of the arch, to the bottom of the actual wood frame, but it's not hanging down over the foam like I wanted it to. Now I've got a couple of fixes I can do, and I might end up doing them, I don't know. Or I just might leave it like that and say the hell with it. Depends on how much energy RAM has. But I'll take a better look at it tomorrow and address that problem tomorrow along with all the cleanup. Oh, good morning. And Kaylee's asking to be on video. She's being such a good girl. Huh? Yes, you are. Anyway, good morning. It's about 78 degrees outside. It's supposed to be up to 93 today, so I'm taking advantage of the cooler weather and getting out here sooner. It's about 9:30. We got this done yesterday. Now we've got to get in here and get all the fasteners off, and we've got some cleanup and stuff to do. I need to trim the foam on the front a little bit, and there's some cleanup here and there that needs to be done. So we are going to be working on that today, and depending on how things go, we might actually get started on the base. I wanted to give you an update. I'm just finishing up what I can do on the first arch, and I had a screw up to fix. When I originally did my measurements for the box, I measured it so a 2-foot foam panel, which is what this was, would fit with an overlap. I forgot to take into account, though, the 1 inch of foam I put on the bottom, which actually made it 25 inches instead of 24 inches. Hence, when I went to put the front panel on, I had a big gap. Okay. So I just went through and cut some scrap. I had some scrap almost long enough. And I'm Gorilla glued it on. I've got some of my fasteners to hold it into place along with some Gorilla tape to help hold it into place. Now the 2-foot panel, the reason why the panel on the front was only 2 foot and not cut to fit was they were leftover wall skin panels. You know, I'm trying to use up as much of the material I have here on this project instead of having to go out and buy a bunch of brand new stuff, which makes the cost of doing this project a lot cheaper. So, but anyway, this one's done. I've gotten the hole cut out on the bottom. I've gone through, trimmed up the foam. I still need to go back through after this piece is dry, sand it, you know, and get it to form fit. But the front also got the holes in them for the lights. So now I can set this off to dry. Once it's dry, you know, it'll probably be tomorrow, I can come back in here and sand this edge down, get it all nice and smooth. And then I'm going to come back with some silicone caulking. And I've got a little bit of gap here and there on a couple of the pieces and stuff. So I'll go through and I'll fill all those in and set it off to the side and let it dry. But for right now, I'm as far as I can go on this panel, or this part, this arch. So I'm going to get working on that arch over there. Well, it's just about 4 o'clock. I got a couple hours until dinner. I think I'm going to call it quits. We started out with the arches, getting those cleaned up and finished and ready for drawing the pattern on and carving. I switched over, started working on the bases. We got the framework together, just finished that. I still need to get plywood out, put plywood across the top and on 3 sides of each box. Which means I need to get the arches out of here. I need to clean up the mess on the floor, which is pretty messy. And I gotta drag the table saw out. And then I gotta wrestle plywood in here so I can cut it to fit this. And it's just, I don't have the energy for wrestling plywood, or cleaning up, or wrestling with the table saw, or the... So I am calling it quits for today. So tomorrow we'll get in and get these skinned with plywood and hopefully skinned with their foam too. Well, good morning, or actually good afternoon. I've been out here for the past 4.5 hours already. I got out here about 7:30 this morning, trying to take advantage of it being cool. Supposed to be in the upper 90s today and up in the hundreds tomorrow, or actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So trying to take advantage of the cooler temp. But we left here yesterday with the framework being done, and I just got done skinning it with plywood, and these are the back side of the boxes as usual. Now I got a hole cut in the top here. The circle is where the base of the pillar sits, and it's to help hold the base of the pillar into place so it's not sliding all over the place. But I put a hole in there, and I got a hole in here in the side. And the reason why I have the hole on the side is the entrance gets fog, is a fog pillar. So in other words, I have a fogger sitting on top of the arch, blowing fog into a pipe that lets out down here on the base. And I actually get fog out both bases. No fan, no air assist or anything. It works just fine. The other two are the same way. They're all identical. But for the exit arch, that's our air blaster. We had 2 jets from the top and then 2 jets at the feet. And I might replumb that. But to play it safe, they're all going to get the holes. That way I don't have to worry about which box goes to which arch. You know, just make them identical. Well, RAM is getting overheated. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sweating up like a storm. It's about 96 out here right now, and it's just going on 3 o'clock. Just got done getting the shop straightened up somewhat. We do have the bases for the arches completed. They're all glued up. I need to let them set overnight. With this heat, the glue will dry a lot quicker, but I'm going to give it 24 hours. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Tomorrow we need to come out here, do a little bit of cleanup here and there, get the screws removed from all 4. And there's 2 more over there. Then I think tomorrow is going to be layout. We got to get in and get the patterns both on the bases and on the arches. Get them laid out, and then we'll be into carving. Fun. Playing with pink snow. In other words, the shavings from carving. In 90+ degree heat, and it's supposed to be up around 100 tomorrow. It's going to be real flippin' interesting. It'll make it nice when I go into paint, because things will dry super quick. I just realized I hadn't filmed anything today. It's going on 3 o'clock, and I've been out here since about 8 this morning. Got out here, went over the bases, got all the screws and stuff out of them, got them cleaned up, and then I jumped in on the arches themselves, and I just finished getting the pattern laid out on them. Doing a brickwork. This will be the surface. The brickwork will get dug in a little bit, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this as a raised part or dig it in too. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. That's part of carving. I'll figure that out when I carve it. But both the arches are done. Now I need to get the bases over here and start laying the pattern out on them. My goal is to get all the patterns sketched out on the foam. So I don't know if I'll have time tomorrow. I got work tomorrow. But if I don't, it'll be Monday. I'm hoping Monday to get out here and get carving. Okay, it's just past 8:30 at night. I've been out here in the heat for the better part of 9 hours. I got out here about 7:30 this morning. I've taken 3 hour-long breaks, you know, just to get in the house and cool down, because it got up to 100 today. Supposed to be 105 tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. But we made good progress. We made it through. We got all the arches laid out. I got all the boxes laid out. And I pushed it. I've even got 2 of the boxes, aka the bases, carved. And I went back to with my caulking and plugged up holes and wider seams and stuff. EST, established 1501. All the bases are getting carved with the same thing. So we've made some progress. Now I've got work tomorrow until about 1 o'clock. 1, 2 o'clock. Longer, well actually longer if I do the paperwork afterwards. But depending on how things go tomorrow, I might sneak out here and get that base and that base done. I will not be doing anything with the arches until Monday. As far as carving goes. That's just a whole nother ball game, carving something like that. Well, welcome to Monday. I spent most of the morning working on a small side project. Yes, I did vlog it, and you'll probably see the vlog on that before you see this vlog. And I came in and I just finished the boxes. They're carved and they're filled. Did I miss that one? Nope. But this one and this one I did Friday. And they've been filled, and these are the ones I just got done. And I had a boo-boo. Was carving out the lettering, and I hit the wrong strip on the E, took the bar out on the E. Now that's fixable 3 different ways. One, I can just rip the foam off, put a new piece on, re-sketch, pain in the ass. Won't be doing that. I'm going to go with this one. I can come back in with some caulking and fill that space out where the bar on the E, this part here is what I'm missing on the other one. You know, just use caulking. Or I can come in and just paint, paint the E, and then whatever I'm using on the background color on this part, I can fill in by brush. And that's probably what I'm going to do. That's the easiest and quickest way of doing it. And I doubt people are going to notice it as they're walking by. They will notice that the E's all fucked up, so I need to get the E looking good. Now, next step are the arches themselves. I've got to get them up on the table and get them carved. These are going to take a while and are going to be a pain in the ass to carve just because of their size and the shapes and everything. It's not a flat piece. I got stuff I'll be carving on the side, stuff on a flat surface, stuff from underneath. They're going to look so nice when they're done, but I'm not looking forward to getting them that way. But anyway, it's time to start on the arches. We're going to get them carved. I got to get them to the same state as that before I can go on to the next step. It's going on about 7:40. And I'm beat. I've been out here in the heat for the most of the day. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, and I'm tired. I want to go in the house and cool off. So I'm going to call it quits for today. But as far as work goes, we got the last 2 bases carved. You can see 3 there. 4th one is here holding up the arch. We went through, got the arch carved. Morgan family crypt. Got it carved, got it sanded, and I went back through. That white stuff is actually clear caulking. It goes on white, and as it dries, like over there, let's see if I can zoom in because I don't feel like walking over there. You can see that hole right there. It looks like there's nothing in it. It's actually filled with clear silicone caulking. So let this sit overnight and it'll be ready. But 4 bases, and this one is ready for heat treating. I still have to carve that one, and that's the first thing on the list for tomorrow, is carving that. Now to carve this arch, there were, what was it, 3 different depths? The lettering, and then the field for the lettering, and then the brick. And then sanding, and then filling. God, it took about 4 hours, maybe 5. The hard part was carving these sides, because I'm holding the router out this way instead of straight up and down like I do on the front surface. And then it's a lot of sanding too to get it all sanded down. So tomorrow we carve that one and hopefully get into doing some of the heat treating too. My goal is to get these things painted by the end of the week. So tomorrow we can actually start doing, or not tomorrow, but next week we can start doing assembly. Greetings, welcome to Tuesday. I've been out here for a little while, actually a while. We had a crap ton of errands and some doctor appointments and stuff. So I'm getting I've got a fairly late start on the project. But the second arch is done. It's been carved, it's been sanded, and I've come back through and filled the holes with clear caulking. Now my next step, which I won't be able to do to this one today because of the caulking still being wet. I've got to heat treat them. My panels in the graveyard and the outside of the mausoleum are identical. I did the same style. This one I'm changing up a little bit because of the lettering, which is going to be gold. This is going to be a greenish color. And then the heat treating, I'll be going over the bricks on both the arches and on the bases and doing some damage on each of the bricks, which will get painted green. Then the surface of the bricks will get a gray, and this will get a darker gray. It's going to be interesting with the heat treating on both of these arches. Doing the front here, I can get it to mimic the graveyard really fine. Not really fine, but really good. Won't be hard at all. The hard part is going to be doing the bottom and the sides since they're in a vertical position. I'm used to heat treating from the top, not the sides. So when I spritz the water on there and take my heat gun over it, the water's going to run and end up creating a different pattern on the bottom and the sides. More than likely. I'll have to wait and see. But it's going to be interesting. But that is the next step, is to do the heat treating. Well, some decent progress made today, even being a short build day. Both the arches are carved, and both the arches as well as the bases are heat treated. So our next step is paint. Now I've got about 7:30 here. Technically, I have more than enough time to shoot the primer coat on all 6 pieces, the 4 bases and the 2 arches. Problem is I'm getting tired. My back is bothering the hell out of me. I don't feel like trying to wrestle those arches up here on the table and then off the table, you know, to get them sprayed. I did go through, got my water, my mixing cans and stuff, and my colors out. So tomorrow I can just come right on out, jump right in, start spraying. So tomorrow we'll be officially into paint. And then we'll just see how far we get tomorrow. Well, good evening everybody. And yes, I'm saying good evening. First clip of the day and I'm saying good evening. Ram went to bed about 9:30 last night. I didn't get up to almost noon. I slept. My body just crashed. So needless to say, I didn't get out here in the shop until almost 1 o'clock. And we pushed it. It is now 10 p.m. But I got everything accomplished I wanted to get accomplished today. First thing we did is we came out and we sprayed all the pieces white, which is our primer coat. And I just got done with that box there, but we came in, shot the black for the grout lines, and the green for the damaged areas. And we also did the green on the plaques for any of the words and numbers. But right now they're finished. They're looking the way they're supposed to. I know it looks like a mess, but tomorrow's step will take care of that mess and probably make a bigger mess with the way my luck is. But anyway, we got some work done. Tomorrow we'll get in and we'll get the rest of the bulk painting done on the project, and then probably get into, maybe tomorrow, getting into doing some of the hardware. You know, like installing the lights, installing the fittings, working on the fogger and the air blaster. Well, we got out here earlier today and we've made some progress. Painting is officially done on all the pieces, with the exception of this dark gray up here, and I haven't done the second coat on it yet because I need to get the lights installed, and once I get the lights installed I'm going to have to caulk in the excess, and I'll cover that a little bit more next segment. And speaking of next segment, now that these things are built, they're painted, we're ready to get into hardware, and the first thing we're going to do are the lights. We got to get the lights installed and wired, and we need to get the couplers attached to both the bases and the arches. Okay, here we go. I got the first arch wired up, and for the bigger gaps in between the foam and the socket, you can probably see that one better, I went and put some clear silicone in. Now that bulb is good. I've tested it. It's the socket that needs to be replaced. And that's one of the reasons why I pulled these old Christmas light strings, is they had some sockets on them that weren't working. So I'm not doing it tonight. I'll get in here tomorrow, snip my connection here and here, and pull that socket out. And then put a new one in and wire it up, and I'll get it fixed. I still need to get in here and get the dark gray colored, but that's pretty much what it looks like, and that's what it looks like at night. And on my little video screen on the camera, it's showing it's blue, but it's purple. So I've got to fix that one socket and then paint it tomorrow. And then this arch will be done. I still have that one to do, and it took a while to get in here and wire this all up, so it will be interesting. But progress is being made, slowly but surely. Well, I've been working out here for a little bit. We went down to Home Depot this morning, bought the rest of the parts I need, I believe, to finish this project. One of them are these pipes. These are a big 4-inch pipe. This is what's going to be connecting the arches to the bases on the Nausoleum Arches. Got home, I came in, replaced this socket, got it all soldered up in the back there, and we got the gray painted on it. And I figured, what the hell, instead of taking it off the table just to drag it back onto the table to finish it off, I figured I'd finish it off. So I went and I took 2 of my flanges, got them mounted, and the tubing there is for my fog machine. My fog machine sits right here, blows fog in, and then down both the pipes and out, and will come out the base. As to underneath, that's what the flanges look like. These kind of stick out, and that black flange will actually fit just barely inside that white pipe. And then I got to come to the right height so the top of my plastic pillars also fits into that hole slightly too, so it makes it look, it gives the illusion that this arch is sitting on the pillars instead of a plastic pipe. But until, sorry, had to tilt that back over, but until I'm ready to cut the pipe and get the pipe and stuff figured out, I think I'm done. I think I was done with this arch. Now I still need to get that arch up here on the table. I need to do the lights, and that one holds my air blaster. So I gotta get my air blaster all plumbed up too, but I'll do that after I get the lights done. Oh, and on the fog tube, I did have to do an alteration on it as well. It was a little bit too long, so I went and cut about 2 inches off of it and put a coupler in, and then rehooked it. So now it will fit the new arch. But at least we've got one arch done. I got one left to go. Oh, the exit arch is done. All the lights work, so I don't have to mess with the sockets at all. My next step is to come in here. There's a little bit of a gap there in between the bulb socket and the foam, and I gotta go through on all the sockets and glue that gap up. When I'll be using a clear silicone caulking, just like I did on that one. And the silicone caulking will do 2 functions. One, it will plug up the hole, and I can paint over the top of it so you don't even see it. And 2, as it dries, it will adhere the socket into place as well. So I gotta do that. The bad part is that I'm going to do it now. After I'm going to take the bulbs out first and then do it now. I won't be able to go through and do any painting on that dark gray strip until tomorrow. That caulking has to set up. You can't really paint it when it's still wet. It has to be dry. One thing I did not cover on the other arch were the bulbs themselves. These are an LED bulb. It's a low wattage, which means they'll use a lot less power. I got them off of eBay. These are a commercial grade bulb, which means they're heavier dutier than the ones that you get like down at Home Depot for your own display. So these should last. These will handle a little bit of knocking around and stuff too. Though I am going to try not to knock them around. Well, welcome to Saturday. Been out here doing a little bit of work. We've been working on the air blaster. It's done. I've got charging. Everything is working as intended, except right here. I don't know if you can hear that hits or not. I got a little bit of a pinhole leak right there on that fitting. Now I went and I took my old air blaster off the other arch, the one I'm replacing, and I scavenged from this fitting to this fitting. This is off my old arch. I scavenged my switches, and I scavenged my 2 tanks on that side and the 2 tanks on this side. Other than that, everything else has been replumbed brand new. And I don't want to have to try to remake this piece. So I'm wondering, is there something I can do to plug that? I never run more than 90 pounds worth of pressure in this thing. Basically because it's shooting down onto people's heads, and anything over 90 pounds of pressure could cause damage. And, oh, speaking of pressures, I'm pretty sure someone's going to see this video and they're going to complain, you know, or go off on a tangent how you're not supposed to use PVC pipe for this sort of thing. That's where you use your head. And yes, Ram did use his head. You check your pipe. All the piping I'm using on this, which is PVC pipe, is rated for 200 pounds of 200 psi, which is pounds per square inch. In other words, you can put up to 200 pounds worth of pressure into this thing before it will fail. Okay? I never run more than 90 pounds worth of pressure in here, so I'm well below the limit. So using this is just fine. Parts do get old and everything, and this setup here I originally made back on the first generation. This is my 3rd generation here. This is, so this piece is pretty old, so I'm not surprising the joint's starting to fail right there. And like I said, I don't know what I could put in there to fill it. I was thinking about doing some caulking, but even still with 90 pounds worth of pressure, I think that would probably end up blowing out. I know they do make some little rubber gaskets that you can get and hose clamp on too. So I might try that, I don't know. Now something else I'm adding to, because I basically got 2 air blasters here. The air comes in here, can go off that way, fills those tanks, comes out to this switch. Or it comes out, goes into those tanks and comes out this switch. My first generation air blaster, I had the dual tank set up like this, and I did not have one of these. It's called a flow regulator. Without those, the air fills up both tanks, but when this switch fires, the air pressure that's in that one will come over and try to replace this, so when this switch fires, it doesn't do all that much because there's no air pressure in it. The pressure switches here allows air to go in, but not to come back out. So when those tanks empty, those tanks stay charged. And it comes out with a nice sound. Now, I am going to try to do this one-handed here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. You're not going to see anything, but you should hear it. Now all that air is coming out these 2 switches into this T. I've got one that shoots straight down, and it always seems, you always get the front person that triggers this, and everyone either hangs back or rushes forward before the other one fires. So I did a little bit of a dirty trick. If this is the first one that fires, which is probably going to be the first one that fires, it's going to shoot straight down. And I have another one at an angle which will blow back into the mausoleum. So anyone saying, hold on a minute. I was wondering when that thing was going to kick off. So anyone hanging back when this thing goes off is going to get it. Or if they run through, the second switch will get them. Because it shoots either straight down or shoots forward at an angle. So my likelihood of hitting everybody is going to be pretty good. Or getting some people twice. So screams ought to be really, really interesting this year. Now, I'm going to unhook you. I do have a repair. I knew it was going to happen. I had to drill a hole in here to let the ports out, the piping through, to let the air out. I'm pretty sure the foam underneath is all scratched up and tore up right around those holes. So I am going to have to get in there and fix that, which I'm going to take a look at now. More than likely, I'll use some caulking to fill it, and I'll just let it dry till Monday. Come in here on Monday, paint it, and it'll be fixed. I don't know how bad it is because I haven't looked yet. And I'm about ready to do that as soon as I put this camera down. Okay, we're finally at the end of the build. That's the arch that has the air blasters in it. But it's up, it's done, and it will fit perfectly. At least all my measurements check out. I am not going to do a reveal video for this project. You're going to have to wait for the haunt. And to have these set up in the haunt, and I'll do a reveal video then. You know, so obviously the lights aren't in, and I don't have it hooked up to air or anything like that. Now I do have one other little project I need to do, and that's with these black pillars here. As you can see, the paint is peeling. They need to be repainted. So I need to go stretch them out or lay them out on the grass and run my mini pressure washer over them to knock off the loose paint, get them in the shop and repaint them. They're just going to be black with the gold trim is all I'm doing on them. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular, so I'm not going to video it. But this vlog is done. A couple of more projects to go and then we'll be getting into setup. We're thinking the week of September 5th for the first setup vlogs. Stay spooky. Come on. Come on.
I can leave you with your tower.
Stay doxy.